My guy.
And he's joined by Kid Kool-Aid, too.
And Kid Kool-Aid. By the way, happy birthday, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Kool-Aid, I got a question for you.
Sir.
I'm starting off. I'm not waiting.
Give it to me.
I'm going right at you.
What's good, brother?
What's good with Killian Hayes?
Right now, seemingly a lot more than it was at the beginning of the season.
So he's up a point a game in average.
Yep.
That's great.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Look.
You know where that was going, Brandon.
I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I get frustrated with Killian Hayes. That's all.
I'm frustrated too. Listen, I'm not even going to hold you back. With Killian Hayes, he was pick number 7. This was Troy Weaver's first pick. And we've talked about this before, Jeff, on the Woodward Pistons. We've talked about it on Morning Woodward show as well. They picked 2 guards after him just to show we're not waiting around. Troy Weaver said it's talent. He said talent, depth. And it's just disappointing because you would think Killian Hayes by now, he's shown the talent. You would think he would get it right up top. Yeah. You know, he's gone out there, done a little bit of, some flurries. It's looked better, but even then it's still, 10, 11 points a game. Over the last 4 or 5, it's better. 4 assists, 4 rebounds. Adam is not, he doesn't care.
Listen,
Adam doesn't care.
It's not that I don't care. I just...
He's not convinced.
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
It's a inconsistent jumper. It's not something you can... It's not a release that, oh, man, that's a good release. I can rely on that all season. It's just Cade's out, more usage, numbers have gone up.
Yeah. Similar to preseason. Better usage.
I'm just not seeing the impact. I'm not. Am I off here? It's okay if I am. I don't mind being wrong on it. I'm not seeing it. Even with the improved numbers.
I think he's off, but you can go on. You can continue.
No, listen. I think to be disappointed is to be fair. You have to be. We all expected better out of him. We all expected more. We all wanted to see at least 12, 5, and 5. Even during this good stretch, it's not that necessarily. So, yeah, you want to look at this thing and be real. He's not meeting the mark right now. Do I believe he's trending towards that? Yes, if I believe that this was about a talent issue, I would feel a little bit worse about the situation. But because I think it's a little bit more up top, a little bit more of learning how to play this game. Rod Beard of the Detroit News said it this morning. He was like, just take him to just take him to one of these gyms that we grew up hooping at. Any one of them.
Yeah.
Where you coming away getting the scratch marks, where you coming away, you looking at your shirt and yourself later, when you're taking your shirt off, like, yo, where all these marks come from?
No fouls being called.
Those games that you play, Rod said this in the EuroLeague, they're laying your shoes out, they're laying your jerseys out. It's a totally different culture of basketball versus here. I remember my first game, in AAU. I had come up in church league. So when I switched to public school in AAU, it was a completely different class of basketball. I think Killian Hayes might be going through that, and it's affecting things right now. He has to learn that style of, bro, if you don't hoop, you're not getting back on the court. Right now, it's been given it to him because he's the 7th pick. He doesn't really have to earn anything. They moved him to the bench. And they say, come on, do something there. And he just kind of has looked the same. Now, do I have a little bit of hope that he's going to show some improvements, build on what he's already shown? I do. I think we're going to see a little bit different Killian. I believe that K being out, like you said, Adam, with the usage helps him. But right now, it's fair to be disappointed.
And you have Isaiah Stewart suffered. Listen, in that game, too, against the Raptors, he was playing well. He was 2 for 2 from 3. He gets that toe injury. Again, it was just one of those, it happens. Listen, for Isaiah Stewart, he's been solid. He's been consistent. He's been healthy for really his whole career. And then he suffers that toe injury. What is he on the next couple weeks, if I'm not mistaken?
2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks.
And then he can be reevaluated.
Which that takes a hit. I mean, this team just got healthy again. You get Bagley and Burks back. Now Cade's injured. You don't have Isaiah Stewart. To you, someone who covers this team, you're there at all the home games. Who are you looking for to step up without Isaiah Stewart and now without Cade for the next possibly couple more games?
Yeah, well, the one dynamic that changes here is before when they only had 2 big men, it was 6'8", maybe 6'9" Stu, and then 6'11" Duren. This time they have 6'10", 6'11" Bagley, as well as 6'10", 6'11" Duren. What you want to see is Duren and Bagley get a little bit more aggressive with their frames. They don't really do a good job at boxing people out. Though they can grab rebounds, though they can get a nice block here and there, they don't really use their frames, their build, their athleticism as consistently as I would like them to see. So the first thing I would like them to do is that. Casey was disappointed. He was disappointed. You know, he was like, we finally got to run our 2 big lineup. He said it started slow, but the defense was way more
You
solid.
could tell. And the rebounding, too.
And the rebounding.
I mean, you could tell.
So some of this, there's not much you can do because the talent around the bigs, you know, the other wings, it's going to be the guards. They're going to have to get down there and rebound. And with Cade being out, that's a blow. You know, he's a guard that gets in the paint and mixes things up, whereas even if he's not getting a rebound, he's at least trying to tip it out. He's not making it easy on the other team in the paint as well. So the guards are going to have to rebound a little bit better, and we want our bigs a little bit more engaged in the paint.
Yeah, no question.
I'll say this one more thing before we have to wrap up, Kool-Aid. They suck.
Majorly
It's
right
bad.
now.
They're losing a lot. I'm not going to put you on the spotlight about Dwayne Casey. I'm not going to do that to you. My question to you, though, about Casey is, can we figure out this rotation? Or are we going to keep playing this game of ring around the rosy? Because I'm not talking about his job security right now. I just want to talk about his rotations and how to
That's
use
fair.
his players better. I'm not a fan of how he used Duren against Toronto. I think Duren, if anything, had a mismatch against everybody on the court. You got to be more consistent, in my opinion. I'm not saying you can't make changes or switch it up mid-game depending on what's going on. But can you have a foundational 5 and then a go-to 2 or 3 lineups? Big, small, shooters, defense. Can it be consistent?
You're hitting on something that, as we continue to see Casey, I wrote an article on this as well. I haven't really seen Casey in this type of a situation where you're not playing with a very, very talented lineup, and even the young players you have, you're still trying to figure out exactly what they are. And so I think he's still feeling his way through, and he said this after the last game. He said, listen, even this lineup that we started with, this is not concrete. You know, at this time, they didn't know what was up with Isaiah Stewart. They thought maybe a couple games and they're back to the same lineup. He said this lineup will change. We're still looking at things and working through things. I think it's a marriage of the lack of talent they have, trying to figure out what positions these guys play, as well as one thing that Casey, I'm going to start to put a point on this now. I've seen it enough. I think to a fault he tries to protect his players from habitual mistakes. And he's talked about it in the past. He doesn't want them to develop or practice or just go out there and play while having these mistakes in their games. And Duren's offensive, post games and his moves, they're not as polished. He'll go out there and rely on moves that might get, like Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond came here and he was just kind of able to just be. No one really put a shot, put a stop to him just going out there and wanting to shoot threes, him going out there and just doing certain post moves that were like, yo, you're not there yet. I see them more or less trying to work with him. You see the little clips of him working on post moves, but then in games, it's kind of, sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Yep. Sometimes he hits a fadeaway, sometimes it's like, don't do that again. And I think it can get a little tough, but I wanted to see them go out there and just play. They're a young team. We all signed up for, if you're going to rebuild the right way, we will support the losing if we see these young guys playing, if we see these guys being the ones that are steering this ship.
And what did we talk about, too, when Jeremy Grant was traded? It wasn't offense. To me, at least, it was defense, man. What he brings with his versatility. And Bojan's great. I love Bojan. But when shots aren't falling for Bojan, I mean, he's as I would use the word for Patrick Beverley, a traffic cone. That is essentially what Bojan is out there. He's not bringing anything defensively, so yep. They got to figure it out. But I'm not going to sit here and hit the panic button. I'm not.
All right. Well, Kool-Aid, appreciate
you.
You
the man, Kool-Aid. Appreciate you always.
You're the man.
As always.
Thanks for stopping by. Happy birthday to the kid.
Definitely.
Enjoy the game.
Kool-Aid.
Enjoy the game. We're out of here. We'll be right back with Mailbag. Get your questions in the